Every good action deserves a continued action, good too, so that the ricochet effect is felt all around us. You know, sometimes people stay kind, even in daunting circumstances, and people ask them, why are you being so kind? For what? After all, the times are hard. But sometimes it's innate. It's something that some people cannot help. And that's where we talk about leaving a legacy. So when they are not there, they will say, if he or she were here, this is what they would have done. And that's how I'll ask my sister, you know, this legacy of a thing. One thinks it's something huge. You need to go and make a monument somewhere, or you need to spend a huge sum of money. But is that always the case?
Honestly, when it comes to leaving a legacy, people just expect that you have to be an iconic figure, you have to be in the history books or something. But almost everyone, Thelma, you and I, everyone watching us, can actually leave a legacy from building that conglomerate, which is a good thing anyway, that can impact generations to generations, from being kind.
Indeed.
You can leave a legacy.
Indeed.
All of us can leave a legacy.
Indeed.
And we must be intentional, because whether you build it or not, you're leaving a legacy at the end of the day. So
Indeed.
we must be intentional about the legacy we decide to build.
Even sometimes when we're having a conversation here, and we take messages, someone may refer you to it in 10 years and say, I recall when I had this challenge, I saw this package on NTA, and they were talking about us, and I contributed, and they read my message out. In 10 years' time, in 5 years' time, some of the things that happened right here on our center table will be described as a legacy, kind of.
And then that takes me to the point that we can build legacies personally or professionally.
Indeed.
Both ways you can actually build legacies.
It works.
And
some say you can be a volunteer, you can be a mentor, even when you make a philanthropic gesture. That is all about leaving an impact with the person who receives it. Have you never had the experience where you give somebody something, or you help somebody out aeons ago, and they'll be the one that'll see you 10, 15 years later and be telling you, such and such a time, patience, it was you
that helped
for you. Were a small thing, it was a small thing, but it left an indelible mark in the heart of that person. And that's what we're looking at today on Weekend Deal, leaving a legacy. Nigeria, I know you're out there. I know you're watching. Anyway, it's time to wake up. Where's your cup of coffee?
I can just
Patience already having hers. I haven't
foodie.
had mine, but tell your friends and your family that where they ought to be at this time is with Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority, as we set to leave indelible prints once again this weekend. You know how we do every Saturday and Sunday. We invite you to open your doors. Let's Weekend Deal come in via the NTA to spend some quality time with you. We don't choose our issues lightly. We look at the country, we see where we can make the best impact, or where there's a gap, and we say, come on, this is where Nigeria can feel our touch. My name is Thelma Obaza. It's a warm welcome I would say to you as you join us on Weekend Deal. You've already seen a bit of the Princess Sinner. Queen Sinner.
No, leave me at princess. Actually, leave me at princess. And I'm going to insist you leave me at princess. Anyway, my name is Patience Eloy Abba. Weekend Deal. Okay, if you're just joining us, it is Weekend Deal coming to you from the network service of the NTA. And this weekend, it's all about leaving a legacy. Thelma asked some very important questions. She said, who should leave a legacy? How do you leave a legacy? Okay, it's one wise, anonymous writer who wrote that what you leave as legacy is not necessarily what is etched in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of people. That just underscores the importance of your values, of love, of honesty, and other values. Well, it is time for us to take our backgrounder as put together by Francis Ogbe. But then I think Thelma is a bit lonely there. I will be joining Thelma. I'm sure you're lonely. You're missing me, right?
Ooh, I've been calling.
You've been calling. Let me join.
Come over.
Yes, I'll be joining Thelma even as we take our backgrounder. Don't go away.
In Nigeria, a country with rich history and diverse cultures, the idea of legacy is deeply linked with both individual and communal aspirations. Nigerians from various walks of life are driven by a desire to leave a mark, not just for personal fulfillment, but for the betterment of society.
Legacy is more like a memorabilia, something that belongs to the past. It can be infrastructure. Somebody can leave a very gigantic structure, it's legacy for maybe the children to be captured in the will, or it can be social legacies based on good governance, good attitudes. When you remember how kind the person was to you, it's a legacy.
It could also be a professional impact, where you look at your contribution towards area of knowledge.
Historically, Nigerian society has celebrated individuals who left indelible marks on their country. From the traditional leaders and warriors of pre-colonial times to modern political and cultural icons, the importance of legacy is evident across generations.
Culturally, our society is one that has an open arms to worthy legacies. When you are a king, you rule your people so well. They remember your time with relish. When you do a lot of charity work, you are kind to people who need support. There's good governance, you are very inclusive. Those are good legacies. But when you are seclusive, exclusive, when you take decisions aimed at hurting some people, that's not a good legacy. You'll be remembered for those things. That's why I say history is kind to the just. History will not be kind to the unjust, because the report card will always be there.
One of the most significant figures in Nigeria's history is Herbert Macaulay, often regarded as the father of Nigerian nationalism. His work in championing self-determination and political rights for Nigerians laid the groundwork for the country's independence.
We have a lot of notable Nigerians, especially starting from the founding fathers of Nigeria. You talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe, you talk about Obafemi Awolowo, you talk about Tafawa Balewa, and a whole lot of them that had fought for the independence of this country. That in its own is a legacy, and we can never forget about them. I can never forget Dora Akunyili for the struggles she had gone through personally to see that there's fake drugs, fake foods, and all of that. I want to mention Goodluck Jonathan, the only one that has handed over power to opposition. And then there's this popular saying, then his ambition is not worth any Nigerian's blood. And I think that is something that will resonate in our head every time we think about democracy.
While individual efforts have been critical in shaping Nigeria's legacy, corporations also play an essential role in leaving lasting impact on society.
When you talk about corporate social responsibility, from who? From civil societies, NGOs, or even from companies, beverage companies, or other companies that are doing all those things. They support governance through all those things because they have been able to carry out a needs assessment and seen that this community for 5 years have maybe a borehole that has broken down and have been vandalized, and nobody has come to the aid of that community. They will come and work on it. You can say that's a legacy of the person that repaired it. People will remember him kindly for being able to do that. If people are sensitive to their legacies, what they will be remembered for, they will be a little bit more careful.
Leaving a legacy in Nigeria, whether through individual achievement or corporate responsibility, is about creating enduring value that continues to impact future generations positively. Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on leaving a legacy in Nigeria. Weekend Deal!
Living a legacy, of course, our center point is Nigeria. But there's nothing stopping Nigerians from living their legacy locally and also earmarking international repute. We can do it on the continent, we can do it worldwide. You know, just start to do something right. And according to what Francis just shared with us, a legacy definitely is something that impacts, touches the lives of others and changes their narrative. And it's no surprise that we are bringing one of such people to our studio today. And you know, if you've been to our studio more than once, we call you a family member.
Yes.
So he's a family member, and we proudly, very proudly and warmly welcome one of our family members today. He is the founder and president of Ogumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. He's a philanthropist. Okay, let's welcome together, first with his profile, Ogumba Uche Woso. Welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you.
Nice
Always an honor.
Hey.
Yes, always an honor to have you.
Happy to be here once again.
Yes, you're a very busy man. We know what you do, but you always take time to share this time with us, and we appreciate you all the time.
Thank you very much.
Now, it's all about leaving a legacy, sir. What would a legacy mean to you?
Yeah, first of all, you need to understand what is legacy, and then how do you leave a legacy? For my understanding,
Yes.
Dictionary might define it their own way. For my understanding, is something you will be remembered for.
Oh, yeah.
The impact, long-lasting impact that you'll be remembered for, whether you are alive or you are dead. It doesn't matter. Sometimes legacy can be, there are bad legacies and there are good ones. But for me, I go with the good one.
Yes.
Something you can be remembered for, and that is your legacy.
Okay.
You know that oftentimes when you're thrust into leadership positions, you have an uncommon opportunity to make a difference in the lives of people. In your own opinion, do you think that many are taking advantage of that low-hanging fruit when they are given opportunities in terms of leadership at any level? Community, state, federal, even in the workplace. What is your opinion?
Frankly speaking, our fathers, most of the people that led us into independence, have a long-lasting legacy, although many of them are not alive. But when you look at the legacies they left, you appreciate and you thank God for their life. But most these days, you see, out of 100, it's just few, like maybe 30, or that even want to leave a legacy. So they are not bothered of leaving legacy. They are bothered of what they want to do now. So it doesn't care. So that brings us to your passion. If you're a politician, your passion to do well for the people, because actually, if you want to leave a good legacy, you'll be ready to serve the people. You'll be ready to put up a footprint that if you are no more there, people will be even calling you that they need you. when people see you on the road, when they hear your name on the newspaper, when they anywhere they hear your name, they say, that man is a good man, that woman is a good man. So as a politician, the first thing coming into office, the first thing you should think before you leave that office, what am I going to do that when I leave this place, people will remember what impact that I'm going to leave here, that by the time I leave this office, the entire world will remember me, even
for good. So people should plan.
Yes.
You should plan.
You should be intentional.
Yes.
About okay, so when you say legacy, most times we think that like we started our show with, you have to be an influential man, you have to be a rich man, you have to be an iconic figure in the society. Can anyone at all leave legacies?
You mustn't be a rich man.
Or a rich woman.
You mustn't be a rich woman or a rich man before you leave a legacy. Let me give you an example. There was one time I saw it on a TV, a young woman, I think twice, a young man returned money, dollars. I think it's up to $50,000 or $30,000. That's the legacy he has left for himself.
Yes.
A policeman in Kano, I think that was a Kano DPO, who also returned money. That's the legacy. Those people, the young man working at the airport is just a junior staff. But have to
who needs the money?
Who needs the money? Who would have said, this is $50,000. That's a lot of money. Let me go with it.
Indeed.
But that young man left a legacy in that office that for life to come, he will be remembered for. He's not rich, but those who are rich should know that when God bless you, you also need to bless others. Your richness is not to cause trouble in the society. Being rich is not to leave a bad legacy that when you die, they will remember you. This man, he is into this problem. He's into this problem. He took this place. He took this. He took this. That's a bad legacy. But the good legacy is the legacy that when you leave, people will be happy with you.
Amazing.
Okay.
And that's how we can go to Owerri in Imo State. Oh, what a coincidence! Oh my, there's little doubt that you have been leaving uncommon legacies over there. Hence, we invited you again today. When we go to Owerri now, aside Ogumba, Ichewosu, I know there are many others who are living indelible prints. Some people will say that they can forget what you said. They can even forget what you gave them. But there's something that people will always remember is about how you made them feel. So we're going to Imo State now. How are personal legacies being made? Please share.
The southeastern part of Nigeria has histories of heroes and heroines, past and present, who have contributed and are still contributing to the growth and development of the state. Legends like late Samuel Onuna Kambakwe, Imo State first civilian governor, implemented many social and economic policies that improved the welfare and living standards of the people. Our own dialect Onyeko Nweno was a great icon who through her music impacted love, peace and unity in the country. The late Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, also known as Ahija Gambandibo, was a first to be reckoned with.
He was the first among us that started construction company, the first to have football club, the first to run for presidency.
Building businesses, because it was good enough. Building political people, it was good enough. In sports, it was there. In church activities, it was there.
One love, keeping us together is what we need in Nigeria. The music sounds one love, keep us together.
This program performed wonderfully well by laying foundations, through the establishment of industries, good network of roads, as well as laying the master plan of Imo State. And Chief Wanyawo was an industrialist and moreover a philanthropist. He laid too many foundations. He gave over 4,000 to 5,000 scholarships to indigent Imolites and beyond Imo State.
They were God-given sons of Igbo land who had replica character to save the Igbo man from any situation that was not suitable to them.
Some of us that played the wild national was given a car, mentioned but a few. you can understand that Kalamago played in one national, Papino, a legend, Friday Ebo, Sonny Kwabu, a lot of big players.
Today, there are still living legends, philanthropists and changemakers from Imo State, to include Sir Sam Obaji and wife, Professor Chinwe Obaji, Nigeria's first female education minister, who made significant strides in education reforms. They also established a music academy in Imo State to harness the potentials of youths. And the imperial philanthropic family's name is indelible in the lives of many students in Imo.
Their vision is to eradicate poverty through education, bringing these young ones up, taking the young child away from the streets.
So if God can remember me and bless me, let me be a blessing to other people.
Imo State has its own share of unsung heroes, Lady May's Foundation and others, through her agricultural empowerment program, has taken youths out of the streets.
She sponsors them to several trainings.
As I wrote the examination last year, they sent for my father 50,000 naira. My father said that I am a great boy, that I will make it in life, that I'm the one who helped him to pay my school fees, that I will never lack in life.
Your legacy is not just what you leave behind, but how you live each day. Live with purpose, love without condition, leave a legacy that endures.
That was a very rich one. Okay, so another anonymous writer wrote that the greatest legacies you can leave for your children and grandchildren is not the money that you accumulated over your lifespan. It is a legacy of character and faith. That is deep. Well, we'll go on the break now. When we come back, the citizen raffle draw will take over, and then our guest is still here. Don't go away. Stay.
It's Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm talking about legacies. The NTA has hallmarked a lot of legacies in terms of the group of people and the number and the quality of people that have been thrust up via the NTA. Talk about broadcasters of renown, people in the entertainment industry. For many decades, the NTA has been systematically highlighting and celebrating people who are touching lives locally and internationally. Not to forget that we did it with Yakubu Gowon yesterday. Yes. As he clocked 90, trust us now, the NTA was out there with many cameras and smiling producers to earmark and capture everything happening there. Yes. Something worthy of celebration, isn't it? 90. That's a legacy. That's a legacy on its own. Okay. Okay, but we're told that now is a good time to join Citizen Development Lottery Limited, and they too are striving to create a legacy.
Yes.
Would you say they've touched legacy status?
Yes, they're getting there. And I was actually going to ask Ogumba that 90 is remarkable. Wow. What do you think?
90 is remarkable. Not even only remarkable, is something to thank God about.
Yes.
90. You hardly hear people at that age that have passed through stress of government getting to 90.
Wow.
Many are from 70, before 80, see they are gone.
Yes.
So I think because the man chose to live a peaceful life in his place in Jos, you hardly hear him make comment on national. It's rare for you to hear go and come out to say things. Before he says something, knows that the thing has gotten out of hand. That's how to live a life. Stress-free, trouble-free, live your life, and then stay in peace.
All right, we're talking and you do remember that thing from the contribution from Owerri?
Yes.
Where they showed. I need you to react to that. What do you think? Seeing those iconic figures and what they did.
Let me start with Onyeka Owen.
Okay.
Her song was for unity. So she left a legacy that is, we can say, that when you think about it, you think about uniting the country. Sure. She was there for people who are depressed, and she was there for the young women and for the poor and aged. So Her legacy is more of uniting the country, using her song to unite the country and talking about peace. Then you look at Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu. Everybody in this country, even they won't know about Iwanyanwu, who through his Iwanyanwu Football Club was able to empower young people politically. He groomed a lot of young people. I met him when I was in the university as the director of transport, Students Union. I remember the first day we went to him, you know, he would tell you how he came up all his life, everything. And I see him, that day I saw a man who has the passion to groom young leaders. And by the time we left his house at Oji in Owerri, I was telling my colleague, the Student Union president then, I said, I want to be like Iwanyanwu.
Wow,
I want to be like Iwanyanwu. That is Iwanyanwu for you. So you have so many of them. And I saw there Sam Mbakwe.
Yes.
His own is, you can imagine the old Imo states, where you have places like Afikpo, Omahia, Breba, Bende, and you come to the Imo now.
The governor.
There is no community in that old Imo that you will not see a legacy left by the Sam Mbakwe. That is what is called leaving a legacy that the generation and generation yet above will come and say, who did this? The Sam Mbakwe. Who did this? Emmanuel Iwanyanwu. Who did this? Onyeka. So I'm amazed, and it's coming from my state. That shows that Igbo people, we know how to leave a good legacy.
You had many role models. You know, people have been wondering, for those who don't know about Ogumba Leadership Center and all it entails, they've been wondering, is it because he wears white? Is it because he has a nice cap? Is it because his glasses look good? Or he's always smiling? Or is it because he called the presenters queens? What is it about Ogumba that made us highlight his excellence and camaraderie? We called him a family member. So Ogumba, tell us, how did these role models we got to see from Imo State, how did they impact you to the extent that you are not only building leaders, you are reaching out to those who are voiceless and helping them to change the narrative?
Like I just mentioned, these icons from Imo State, and then you want to know, why do I do what I do? Because I know that in this world, one day you will be no more. What will you be remembered for? Yesterday was Iwanyawu's tribute, and then at Economic Center, and you see people talk about him, even those who don't like him. They don't have any choice than to talk good things about him. When she died, a lot of tribute came to her. I do it because I'm not doing it to please anybody or to be clapped or praised or to say, Ogumba, you're doing well. I'm doing it because I want to leave a legacy that my children, when they grow and whenever I'm no more in this, somebody somewhere will say, are you Ogumba's son? I know that man. What I have done or what I am today or what that man helped me in getting there. So those are legacies. The legacies are, when it comes to the issue of legacies, not the legacies you're expecting something in return. You give somebody something and then you get something back and you say you have left a legacy. No. What I do is because I want to make sure that by the time I'm done,
it's all said and done,
the young people that I've helped would also go back to help people, and that is how the chain will go.
Okay. No, you know, it's amazing when we talk about political icons who left legacies, and then we look at politicians of old. Now, politicians are looked at these days as nollygusters and all that. What changed in our political terrain? Why are some, not all, there are some still good ones leaving legacies, but why are most politicians these days accused of that line of not caring?
Thank you. You rightly said it. Olden days. Look at people like this, Sam Mbakwe. Look at people like Abakaremi, them. Look at Tafawa Balewa. Look at Nnamdi. Look at Awolowo.
Yes.
Look at so many of them. Yes. And you look at the ones we have now. Out of 100, 30%.
Yes.
Because of selfishness. They are not selfless. They are selfish. Most of them. Those days, you look at these people that are just, Okay, let's take Tafawa Balewa for instance. You look at where he lived. Even to date, as a prime minister.
Was a bungalow.
In a bungalow. He's not selfish. He's not talking about himself and his own immediate family. He's talking about he was there for the entire nation. So the problem we have now is, can I say, is a primitive accumulation of wealth by some politicians that they want to acquire until they have no place to put those wealth again. And at the end of the day, they die and leave the wealth. What politicians should do is that let us go back to our forefathers and ask ourselves, why do this man prefer, why do this man prefer to do what he do? Why do Nnamdi Azikiwe prefer what he do when he was alive? Awolowo, why?
Why their names still re-echoing up
and
till
then
now?
Why is it that some politicians now, their name don't re-echo? When you mention their name, people will accuse hell out of you. But when you mention the other names, people will start clapping. They just open they want to hear. So what is the problem with us now? I think it is one, selfishness, primitive accumulation of wealth, and we are not ready. Most of them are not there to serve. If they are ready to serve and ready to give to the people, their name will ring bell.
Yes.
But the issue is that they are not ready. And again, the issue of where you come from, what religion.
Tribal sentiments
those days, those our forefathers don't care. People like Nnamdi Azikiwe will go to the north and sleep. Someone like Awolowo will go to the north and come to sleep and sleep. They don't know where you come from. They are all one. They came together like one broom in order to make sure that the country is united.
We know that story of Odumegwu Ojukwu now, where his mother was somewhere, and when there's something happened, like the war broke out, he had to call somebody to take care of my mom.
Yes.
The mom was taken care of, and as soon as it was safe to ferry her down, she was sent back. She was in the house of a non-Igbo person in the part of the country, a non-Igbo part.
That is
and
it.
she was well taken care of, she was fed, she was in health. Okay, we're still talking about legacies, and I know that what many young people find challenging these days is a dearth of role models. They ask themselves, why ought I? Why should I? After all, see so and so, they are not doing it that way. But what we preach here on Weekend Dealers, even if everybody is doing it wrong, you be the one that will do it right. And that's how we can journey down to Bayelsa State, where the focus is on corporate legacies. You did the research. What did you find? Please share.
Bayelsa State, like many other states in Nigeria, is steadily increasing in the wheel of progress in terms of development. But beyond government intervention, some of the most transformative changes have come from companies and corporations, both Nigerian and foreign. Corporate social responsibility represents the commitment companies make to the people and places where they operate.
We have access to go into areas that you cannot access, especially the school, the roads. Our children, we are suffering, including we, the elders. But when road has come, everywhere is access. It can, even the light, especially.
Otuasiga in Ogbia local government area has greatly benefited from the corporate social responsibility initiatives of Shell, a foreign company that previously operated in the area. Shell's lasting contributions are evident in the construction of vital infrastructure, which includes Carthage Hospital, markets, town halls, schools, and roads. Additionally, like many other rural communities and areas surrounding Yanangwa in Bayelsa State, Otuasiga is also experiencing the positive social impact of the Niger Delta Development Commission in providing solar-powered lighting and water. While government continues to work development projects, private sectors like Celine Global Company has also been instrumental to construction of inner streets in rural areas where they operate.
These are projects that will last for the test of time and touch positively in the lives of the Otuasiga people and beyond.
I would say Otuasiga Cottage Hospital is the one that is most benefited. It is not only rendering services to the Ogbia people here or the Otuasiga people here, all the towns and villages spanning from Oruma, Obedum, Amenekpoko to Abuja Odua are all accessing their healthcare here.
Ogbogoro in Yanangwa local government area, a community located across the Goodluck Jonathan's Bridge, Swali, is in one of the rapidly developing area of Bayelsa State. This community has also benefited from the legacies of the Niger Delta Development Commission and Fadama projects. The contributions include construction of essential projects such as solar lighting, a public address system, and public toilets.
NDDC came and gave us solar panel lights that is lighting up the community and the night to help curb down insecurity. Recently, Fadama came and constructed this toilet for us and the water project, and we are benefiting from it greatly. I want to appreciate the Fadama who came to do this for Ogbogoro.
Corporate bodies don't just leave their mark in physical construction. The lasting legacy and the knowledge that future generations will have access to better infrastructure will stand as the true legacy.
Where they build the market for us, where we come, we they stay for one place here. They sell as the rain, no they touch me. Sunset, no they touch me.
This is a lasting project. Their legacy that is being left behind to touch and also develop. As me as a youth, you can see such legacy projects are so important to the development of the people in every community.
Corporate legacies indeed have a significant impact on the development of society. When companies prioritize corporate social responsibility and invest in areas like education, healthcare, and other infrastructure, they not only address immediate needs but also contribute to long-term societal growth. This can lead to a more equitable, sustainable future in Bayelsa State and Nigeria at large.
Okay, so corporate social responsibility is one way that corporate organizations can leave legacies. Thank you so much, NTA Yanagwa. Our guest is still here. Ogumbasa, I do know that you work with young people. You are this person who has actually empowered a lot of young people. You interact with them so many times and all the time. What do you think? Do you have the mindset? What do you tell them to encourage them? And I would ask you, do they have the mindset of ever leaving legacies, or they just want to be helped and move on? Your interactions with them?
Yes, if you don't educate them and then train them and impact in them that leadership quality, some of them, let me tell you the truth, 60 or 70% of our youth believe in what they don't care. They don't even want to know whether what they are doing is right. They just want to be there because of the situation they have found themselves, because of lack of employment and then lack of money to take care of themselves. So from my center, Ugumba Leadership Center, we try to impact in them that leadership quality, that it's not all about making that money, but from what means. You want to be like so person. Have you asked yourself, so person is rich, is wearing a Gucci wristwatch, wearing a Versace shirt, wearing this. Have you asked yourself, how did that person make his money? How did he make that money that you think is making you to take that person as a role model? So you see that most of them don't care. Whoever, as far as that person is rich, is my role model. Let him give me money, let me eat. What is it? You want me to come and die here out of hunger? So from the center, we actually let them know that you don't have to have that rich people as your role model. Even a classroom teacher can be your role model.
Can inspire them.
Can inspire you. Even somebody that is selling something in the market can be your role model. So what we do there is to give them that leadership quality and let them know that as you grow, you have a legacy to leave. It is not what you have today. At the end of the day, your name would not ring bell good for people to hear. So leadership training is very important. When you look at most people most of us that are politicians, let me tell you, 80% of the politicians don't go through leadership training, and that is why you see when they say not too young to run, and then they say, we have given even the young people. See some of them that will get power, they still misbehave because they didn't go through leadership training. They just wake up and then find themselves, some of them federal house, some of them senator, some of them governor. So there is no training, there is no idea about leadership. So what they know is that this person is taking money, let me do the same thing and then go back home.
Many of the politicians seem to come in for what they can make,
exactly,
rather than what they can give.
Because they are looking at our leaders, what they are doing, so they think that this is right. So some of them, some of them think that some of the leaders, what they do is right, and then because they do it, what is it? If this person can do it, why don't I do it? So that is the problem.
Okay, you talked a minute ago about, yes, there are a few messages, and I'll take them. Send in your messages while here, going to read them. Somebody said, before we go out, this is Eze Chukwuemeka. It says, don't place too much emphasis on the society because we know what is going on there. He said the onus rests on the parents and the guardians who raise these children. He says they're not doing enough. In your own opinion, is that accurate?
I somehow agree with him. Places like Lagos, a mother wakes up around 4 and go to work. Maybe from Ikeja, you're going to work at VI. Every morning from Monday to Friday, you leave the house around 4 or 5 and come back by 10. And you leave your children with a nanny. The only time they have time to stay with their kids is Saturday and Sunday. So they don't even have time to, when they come back from school, to, okay, tell me, you were in school today. What happened in the school? It's only the nanny. And sometimes some of the nannies don't even care. They just bat them and they go and sleep. They don't even have time to review their book and what they have learned in school. I somehow agree with him because parents should have time for their children. They should, because this is where it all starts. You should not leave your children to
intentionality should come in.
And allow other people to take care of them, because once you do that, you might not be there. By the time they grow with that, it will be too late for them to come back. So I agree with him.
Okay, good one. Okay. Can I take one more message?
Okay,
someone says, I love the conversation. I love this trend of talk. He said more Nigerians should learn something from it. He said nowadays you can see that it's not about the age of a person. People can grow, they can succeed, they can mature in age, but they are not leaving any prints. Little good can be said about them. That's coming from Glory in Just.
Okay. All right. Leaving legacy is something that all of us should do. We should strive to do. And like I was even saying one time to somebody, I said, you make up your mind to say, okay, for example, you're a mechanic in a mechanic village, and you make up your mind and say, okay, for this business I'm doing, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to cut corners. Yet it might not be easy when you start, but before you know it, you're going to grow a community. How? There's one or two persons who will say, okay, I like how this man is doing his own mechanic work. And you would attract, and before you know, you've built a community in that mechanic village, and you are leaving a legacy. So we can leave legacies anywhere we find ourselves. But NTA Kano is ready to join the conversation, and they're looking at legacy from the point of governance. Let's see this.
In decades, Nigeria got its independence from colonial rule. It is no doubt it was indeed a struggle and a product of effort by some outstanding personalities who even today, history remember them positively.
Compare Amadou Bello, Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. We regard them as foundation of Nigerian independence. And the motive of these three parties before and towards the independence of Nigeria is not what the present one are up to.
Well, I think leadership is all about serving the people, and that is where past leaders have made so much contribution, and these contributions can be seen from various angles, starting from maybe infrastructural development. There are so many projects, infrastructural projects that were embarked by past leaders that we call them legacy projects, that when you look at them, you remember those leaders.
Their politics, their policies and administrative style were unique are merely toward building the nation.
When you look at, for example, the bridges we have, the road network, the universities that have been created formerly in the regions and now in various states, so many federal universities and tertiary institutions that we have in the country. So all these massive projects that we are seeing, some of them are what we call legacy projects, which are parts of the legacies left by past leaders.
These type of personalities spread across all geopolitical zones and state of the federation, depending on the position they held.
Alhaji Shehu Shagari does not build a house when he was a president. And the single house he has before being a president when he was a teacher was still the main house he was with. Only when President Babangida decided to build a house for him.
In Kano, people such as Abakar Rimi, Audu Bako and others will remain in the memories of many people owing to their selfless service to the nation.
Let's take an educational policy for Muhammad Abubakar Rimi of blessed memory. He did a lot for education in Kano State and Jigawa. He was the first governor that ever sponsored Kano indigenes, young Kano indigenes to European countries and America. And now they are professors and they are one of the best health practitioners around the world.
In Kano, a massive infrastructural drive by the Audu Bako administration, the pioneer governor of Kano. You can see built dams. Up till now, we are talking about maintaining those dams, which is even becoming a challenge, or became a challenge to successive governors.
They are people of high integrity, respect, honesty, and full of patriotism. Today, many good citizens wish that those leaders will have been copied instead of mere making reference to them. There are a number of factors that serve as constraint to leadership style today, where honesty is regarded as best policy, where the focus is to serve the people, not otherwise.
You find out that there are these contributions made by past leaders, and the society sometimes recognize them by naming roads, buildings, edifices, infrastructures after them, so as to maintain that legacy that they leave, and to also inspire future leaders that all sacrifices, all legacies do not go in vain.
Some believe that it is not late, even though it is tough. Nigeria, with collective effort from families, traditional and religious leaders, will be better again.
Things have changed a little bit, but some of them, the motivating factor in leadership, like I said, is just they are there to serve the society, not to serve themselves. And then sometimes, even if there are political differences, we have seen cases whereby those political differences were kept aside to foster or move the society forward.
Well, we learned as we grew up that sometimes it's not what people say, but it's what they do. Every day, we may not even know it. People are watching us. People listen to what we say, young people especially, and we often say they'll be leaders of tomorrow. If young people are watching you, for example, and you as well, what do you think they are taking away? Are they inspired or motivated by your actions, especially when you think no one is looking? Let that be our food for thought. Nigerians, thank you for your messages. Keep sending them in. And let me even ask the youths in Nigeria, who inspires you? Do you have a role model? Because we do hear, Ogumba, that it's often good. It's an informal kind of mentorship system. If young people have people they look up to in their community, in the schools, perhaps in religious bodies, in the church or in the mosque, how much of that do you think we have? And how is it reflected in the personality of our youth?
You know, let me tell you something. These days, very rare. Like those days, when I was growing up, in my school, government secondary school, Gubiu, then Colonel Abdomimino Aminu was the military administrator then. He came to my school one day. I saw the way he dressed. You know, military officer. Impeccable, clean shoe, cloth, cap, this way. I told my friends, this man is my role model. They say, why is he upset? The way he dresses. In fact, his dress makes him become my role model. So, but these days it's very rare. You either see their role model being people who are into Yahoo or something, people who are rich. Most young people, their role model are people that are rich.
Yeah.
You don't see, so many of them, you don't see them say, my school teacher is my role model. But there are one girl, one day I went for one training, and I asked her, who is the role model? She said, my teacher. Not people like TY, not people like Davido, not people like this, not like all those big names. Your teacher. I said, thank you for having your teacher as a role model. So that's I want to be like, it's no more there. Everybody wants to make it quick, and which is not good for the society.
Yeah, it's like talking about this. A lot of fathers are working extra hard. A lot of mothers are working extra hard, all because they want to leave a legacy for their children. Now, they are leaving this wealth, this plenty money for their children without building characters. So we hear stories of people pass on and their children cannot even as much as maintain what they have labored all their lives, or even keep the family together, because they are fighting over wealth. They are in several courts and all over the place. So please, I want you to speak to the importance of leaving character as a legacy for children.
Most parents think that the good legacy they can leave for their children is the wealth. Houses, money kept in the bank, houses here, or there, London, US. That is not the only legacy. The best legacy you will leave for your children is that legacy that when they grow up, they will be something that the society will look up to. Money, I have seen many families, once the parents or their father, or even immediately their father died, they start, even their mom and the family will start quarreling.
Yes.
Who takes this property? The first son will say, I'm the first son, I need to have this. The second son will say, the girls will say. So at the end of the day, you see, by the time, the family is scattered. And then you now ask yourself, what kind of legacy did their father left for them? So it is not only leaving wealth, money, or buildings. The main legacy every parent should leave for their children before they leave this world is to make sure that that legacy that will unite the family, and that legacy that will impact to their knowledge, not believing that money is everything. Because if you have the entire money in this world and you don't have peace, the money becomes useless. So these days, our kids think that my father didn't leave money, so there is no legacy.
Yeah.
And you see some of them will get angry. My father worked all the 40 years working in ministry
What did I benefit?
I didn't benefit anything.
I don't have any land
And
or
then
car.
not knowing that your father took you to school, did this for you, and a lot of things. And if you're walking on the street, the people will say, are you the son of Ahmed? Or are you the son of Okaf? Or are you the son of Oluremi? This guy, your father was a good man. Where I am today is your father. You see this school, this primary school, the roofing was done by your father. And your father didn't leave any money. Those are legacies you expect your father to leave, and not all money,
that should inspire you.
And then houses everywhere.
Okay. We know that the times are daunting, and young people sometimes wonder, they look ahead and say, it may be too tough. What will I do to get money? But why don't you start small? Perhaps it's the legacy that you should be intent on leaving, starting from your small community, that will thrust you up to greater heights that you least expect.
Once again, happy birthday, our former president, Gowon. So your parting words, what will you say? We are at the wrapping up the show. Parting words.
Happy birthday to our father, our leader, General Yakubu Gowon, and to those watching. Legacy. The question you should ask yourself today, what kind of legacy are you going to leave for your kids? Are you going to leave a legacy that you'll be remembered for good? Or are you going to leave a legacy that when they mention your name, everybody will say, God forbid? Leave a legacy that by the time your name is being mentioned, people will say, this man, this woman is or was a good man. For me, I want to thank those who are doing well, and those our great grandfathers and our leaders today whose name are ringing bell. Some of them are still alive. Before I even end, somebody like President Tinubu, it was his legacy in Lagos.
Yes,
that brought him to the center
now.
When he was during the campaign, people say, this man did good in Lagos. He brought this to Lagos.
Let us bring him back.
And then let us bring him to presidency. So
okay.
that's what legacy can
do.
Thank you.
It opens doors. Keep building good legacies in your families. Anywhere you find yourself, we can do it together, Nigeria. Goodbye.
God bless Nigeria.